everyone, and welcome to my Python programming tutorial. In this video, we will talk about dictionaries in Python. So let's get started. I will share my screen a little bit about from my PowerPoint slides, and then we will jump on to PyCharm. So what is dictionary? Just like in your normal life, we have a dictionary and a book. In that book, we have words associated, we have meanings associated with those words. So same goes with the dictionary. The concept is quite similar, but a little bit different. In Python, you can create your own dictionaries of anything you want. And then in those dictionaries, we have key and value. So key is associated with a value is associated with the key. So if you don't have a key, it means there is no value, and both are connected. So, and you can create dictionaries of any kind. It depends. Okay, so and how you create dictionary, there are some syntax, some rules to create dictionary in Python. In Python, dictionary is written as a sequence of key and value, so both comes in pair. You can create dictionary with curly braces, and in curly braces, what you will do is you will first write the key, and it can be of any data type. If you are using string, it must be with double quotation marks or single quotation marks when you are representing a string. So as you can see, the first line represents a phone book. So these names are the keys, and these are the values. So if I say, hey, give me the value of Sarah, so Sarah phone number will be displayed, because this dictionary is created as kind of a like phone book. So the next line represent personal information. So you can create dictionaries of personal information as well. And what we have is, for example, if I say, give me the name is the key, and then the value associated with name is Molly. If I and say age is the key, and then the value will be returned will be 18. As you can see, name, key, and value are both separated by a colon in Python. And this is an empty dictionary. So if you don't know the values yet or the keys yet, you can create an empty dictionary, and later in the code you can ask user, you can create more of like dictionaries and assign the values to whatever the blank dictionary you have created. So adding keys and replacing the values, you can, after creating dictionaries, yes, you can add the values, you can add the keys later on in the same dictionaries. With to add, you will be using some square brackets, just like I think in the list you have seen, you use square brackets to add the value or the key. So this is, for example, an empty dictionary you created, and later on you have taken values from user, or later on in the code you realize you want to add, these are the values and these are the values I want to add in my dictionary. So info, you will call the dictionary name, square brackets. Inside, you will define the key first. So again, dictionaries without keys are useless. So it's the same way if in a normal life, I have a dictionary full of meanings and there are no words. So how that book will be useful if I don't know what this meaning is associated with the word, right? So in the same way, if you don't have a key, so there is no point of having a value in dictionary. So as you can see, we have added some couple of values, and when you say print, it is printed like this. So as you can see, the example, it's not in PyCharm, it's in idle or your command prompt. So it will work in this way, but in PyCharm, it will be a little bit different. The syntax wise, you just need to update. I will show you how. Accessing the values, if you want to access the values, again with the square brackets, we have just like we did in list as well. Dictionary works the same way when you have to retrieve the value. So, and when you have to retrieve the value in list, we were specifying the index. So list works with indexes. You have index associated with each word, but over here we have key, and the key is you are defining the key. So key can be anything. Maybe you are say, okay, key is like, as you can see in the previous examples, you have set name as the key, you can set numbers as the key depending on your dictionary you are about to create. Okay, so let's jump on to our PyCharm, and let's take a look at simple examples. This is our PyCharm. So let's first create a basic dictionary, and what you have to do is you just have to give a name to your dictionary. And let's stick to the example. We have a name as info equals to, and what we will do is dictionary is created with curly braces, and inside of curly braces, you will define the key and the value. So let's say our key is double quotation marks, the name, which is, I can say any name, Sarah, and then this is one key, within quotation marks. When the quotation marks are closed, I will put a colon, and then I will tell another value or another number, anything you want to associate with this key. So let's stick to the phone number. So let's say 808 hyphen 999 is the phone number associated with this key, and then they are separated by a comma. Again, I want to add another key and value. So another key will be, for example, let's say John, and quotation marks. Make sure there will be a lot of quotation marks or single quotation marks. Make sure you count and there are no errors when you run the code. Colon, and now again double quotation marks. I have to assign a number, so a number can be anything, hyphen 666, something like this. And then what I will do is I will print my info, and let's see what we have. Run our code. So as you can see, this is my dictionary. So what my dictionary does, it's printing the whole thing right now because I said print the whole info, and it is printing the whole thing. So it has a key and a value. So keys are the names and values are the phone numbers. And the difference between list and dictionaries are that list is associated with indexes 0, 1, 2, and they are set by default with PyCharm. But dictionary, you can create dictionary, you can set the keys, you can even switch. So it depends what type of dictionary you want, what type of programming question you have, what type of programming project you have. So changes, let's do some modifications to our dictionary. And let's say, for example, if I want to add something to my dictionary. So for example, later on, I realize that I want to add something. So remember, when you have to add, you will say info, you use square brackets, and inside of square brackets, you have to identify the key first. So let's say another key, and it will be and give it a name equals to, and double quotation marks, give it another name 666 hyphen 345, and this is the dictionary value, info, and which I am adding. So this is the statement this is how it was written in our slides, and you can write it in idle or command line. So let's run and see if it is making a change to our dictionary. So as you can see, this is our output, and in our output, Ali is added at the end of our dictionary. If you want to add a value later on after this as well, if you want to add something, you can add in this way. So this is how our dictionary code works. So let's take a look at some more of the examples and what are the things we can do. If you don't want to print the whole thing, for example, if you just want to access the values, and what you will do is in dictionaries, you cannot say print this number, or you don't have to identify the number. So every time your key will be like your student ID, which you need to memorize, right? So you need to remember your student ID to access your database. So same goes over here. So when you are creating keys, your keys must relate to something, so that in future, if you want to recall or want to know, you must know the names, or you can remember those keys. For example, if I create key and values or dictionary in Python of my students and their grades. So if my student show up and he's like, what's my grade? I can ask student, I cannot ask him his grade, right? I can only ask him his name. So I will call the name, and then in return, I will receive the value, which is his grade or GPA, right? So let's take a look what we have. So info, what you will do is I want to know the value. So I want to know the value of, let's say, Sarah, and Sarah is the key, Sarah. Okay, make sure spellings are correct. There are no cap lock. Java is case sensitive, and I will write inside of print as I want to know the value of Sarah. So let's say what will be the output. Where's my mouse? Okay. As you can see, this is the output. I don't see Sarah anywhere in the output. What it has returned me, the value associated with Sarah. So as you can see, the value associated with Sarah was 808999, which was the phone number. So you can create a dictionary similar to grades, or I can create as your instructor that names are associated with the grades. So if any student show up, he say, hey, what's my GPA? I will call his name, so that I don't have to display the whole class grade like this and take a look, because in my class we may have 30 students, 35 students, and I don't have to go all through all the list and find. So I can just call his name and check if there is this name exists in my dictionary, it will definitely return the value associated with that name. For example, if we want to remove a value from our code, so what we will do is, or from our dictionary, sorry. So what we will do is we will say info dot print. Let's say if this print works, info dot pop is the method we will use to remove the value, and inside you will specify the key. So the key is John, and let's run and see what we have. So on the next line, I'm also printing this part. So as you can see, it tells me that I have removed John. So this value is removed. And if you take a look, when I print info or print my dictionary, John is not over there. It means that is removed. You can always save it without print, so that it's just print I have used to see what was the value which was removed from associated with this key. So removing the values, and then after removing values, what you can do with dictionary is you can traverse the dictionary, you can go over the dictionary, you can sort the dictionary, and there are a couple of other methods you can do, which also links with the loops. So you will see a lot of those methods when you have loops. So for example, if you want to remove a key which don't exist, so let's say J is the key, and when you run, there will be an error that J does not exist. Okay, as a good programmer, your code should work and it should not throw an error. It should throw a formal message that this key does not exist. As a non-programmer, I won't be able to understand these 3 red lines of code that what they are trying to tell me. So what you will do is you will use a method has key, which returns true and false, that if this has a key, this key exists in your dictionary. If that key exists in your dictionary, it means yes. And then later on, you can say, okay, whatever you want to do with that key, remove it, print it, or you can also check the length of your dictionary, that how big is your dictionary is. There are a couple of more methods. So let's take a look. I'm not removing John because we only have like 3 values so far. So let's check the length of our dictionary. LEN is the same method we are using so far with strings, with list. So LEN is the method you use, and you have 3 values in your dictionary, and that's correct. It's counting the keys associated with all the values. So it's not doing the double count of 1, 2. It's just counting keys, you will say. Okay, and then you can also say, there are a couple of more methods you can do. You can also combine. There are situations where you combine lists and dictionaries as well. And you can also do clear if you just want to remove the dictionary, and you can say info dot clear is the method you will use. And inside, I will say, you can also check with length, it will return 0, or you can say print info, and let's say what will be the output if I, after clear, if I say. So as you can see, there is an empty, though there are numbers, there are keys and values, but just one statement, one line where you said info.clear, your dictionary is cleared. So after this line, whatever you want to do with your dictionary, there is no value exist in your dictionary because you have cleared your dictionary over here. So that's it for this video. Thank you. Bye-bye.